Hey, good morning. This is Scott Fain. I'm with Curtis Coleman, Youngstown native. How you doing, Curtis?
I'm doing great this April. Real good.
Very good. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. One of the things I wanted to do this morning was to talk a little bit about some experiences. One of the things that, especially right now, we're in the midst of dealing with the coronavirus and everything like that. And so I think
Right.
a lot of people are finding peace of mind in, being with their family, reflect on positive things from their past and stuff like that. And
Right.
Matthew, your nephew, thought we could do something positive by talking a little bit about some of the local experiences with Zion Hill Baptist Church. So that's why we're talking this morning.
All right.
And I wanted to find out, first off, what's your most vivid memory of your time worshiping at Zion Hill in Youngstown?
Oh boy, Zion Hill. It's my childhood church. All my siblings and I were raised in that church. My most vivid memories is Reverend Goss. He was the longtime pastor of that church, I believe, until I left here in the 70s, going to the military. They had a larger congregation back in the 60s and 70s. The Colemans, the Logans, the Barnes. It was a pretty good church to be raised in. And I still have a lot of family and friends ties with the church. I still, speak with some of the Barnes and some of the Logans over the years. Even though we're not, that young anymore, but we still, the people that are still here in Youngstown, or those families, we still get together. They have family and friends days there that my sister, Betty Dubose, has a lot to do with. Memory-wise, oh boy, you're talking about the 60s, and Sunday school was a mainstay for my siblings and I at Zion Hill. They didn't have the games and the activities back then that they do now. We were told, you go to church, you pay attention, you listen, and you're well mannered. And that was there was a lot of homeschooling, so to speak, coming up in Zion Hill, and that's my most vivid memories, and they all were good. They all were good memories that I had being raised in that church. And Reverend Gars and his wife, I can't remember her name, but oh man, it was just a great time. I have no bad memories of Zion Hill, none whatsoever.
Okay. Yeah, that's similar to some of my experience with some of my home church. I feel what you're saying there. You mentioned a large family. So how did all you guys physically get to church every week? I mean, since there were so many.
Well, we always drove. The church was on the north side, of course, and my father, he wasn't a church-going man unless there was a wedding, most likely one of his children, or a funeral or something like that. That's about the only time my father would go to church. But he was a good host. My mother would host a pastor every now and then because Reverend Gars lived down in East Liverpool, I believe it was. And Sundays he would go from different homes to have dinner. There wasn't a lot of restaurants that they would go to. One of the church families would host the pastors and his wife at their home for a Sunday dinner before they would drive back to, I believe it was East Liverpool that they lived in. But we rode in our family car. We didn't have a church bus back in those days. You either rode to church or with your family, or you caught a ride with someone. Fortunately, we had a family vehicle and we drove to church.
Okay, that sounds really, the aspect of hosting the pastor on a rotating type of schedule with everybody, that seems like a really nice way to kind of keep the congregation connected.
I think it worked pretty good
for everybody.
Yeah, it worked pretty good for Zion Hill, as my memory recalls, because there were restaurants around, but we didn't go out to dinner at a restaurant every Sunday like I did my kids and my grandkids now. My grandchildren have been to just about every restaurant in Youngstown. That was an experience for me and my siblings. We ate at home, we had church dinners, and every now and then we might be able to go to a sit-down restaurant, but that was not the norm.
Mm-hmm. So, what did you what did you love most about? Excuse me, 1 second. What did you love most about going to church?
Well, as a child, it was just being around other kids. To be honest, just being around the other kids, and you had a few activities for the kids. But when I look back, it was a learning process. You learn how to interact with people. You learn, you got to stay in your place. This situation doesn't allow you to be moving around, chewing gum, talking to your friends. You learn a lot. It's almost like going to school. And because I still got friends. I still have friends from Zion Hill Baptist Church that, and you're talking about, the 60s. So it was it was extended family. That church was extended family. We didn't have the mega church experience. Everybody knew each other pretty much. Okay. That's my best memory of it.
What didn't you like about going?
Well, what I didn't like was, and it's kind of a hindsight type of thing. Teaching wasn't, the Reverend God, he's a great individual, but, we weren't up on the local politics and things like that because, the 60s was tumultuous. It was tumultuous here in Youngstown for a lot of years. We had, riots back in, I believe it was 68. And they never spoke on things like that, on community activities. If they did, I missed it. Maybe because I was young. But, as I grew older and I realized the church could be such a powerful organizing tool for any community. And, you learn about the boycotts, the Montgomery boycotts. All those things are organized by black preachers and churches. And there's power in numbers. And when you coordinate and you organize, I didn't see that, in the churches I was coming up.
And more now in church? I don't know if you're still participating in church.
No, I'm not too affiliated with Zion Hill anymore. I'll go help out when my sister Betty Du Bois asked me to, they might have a friends and family day and need someone to help cook. I'm all for that, and I always help my sister out as much as I possibly can. And my older sister, she's affiliated with Joyce Davison. She's affiliated with a church now in Girard. So we don't have a whole lot of family ties there at the church anymore.
Okay. Well, one of my last questions: who got in the most trouble at church? Did you recall?
You know what? We were pretty good. We were pretty good. We were well-mannered kids. I don't remember too much mischief. There was one incident with my brother who just passed away this year, Larry. He was into the social black power scene, and he was a college student at Baldwin Wallace. And I think that's where I get some of my ideas from, because they never spoke on social issues. And when they did, I remember my brother interrupted church once, and I can't remember what the argument was. I shouldn't say argument, but he challenged the pastor on whatever he was speaking on that day. It kind of shocked my mother because it was right in the middle of church. My brother stood up and told the pastor he was wrong. And I wish I could remember the whole incident. But
I wish you could too.
It was something to see. My brother was right on it because it was maybe before or right after the riots here, and there's a lot of black power and political things going on. And like I said, the preachers at that time, to my recollection, didn't speak on things like that. Now, maybe I'm wrong because, you had Reverend Simon here in Youngstown. He was into politics, but not Reverend Goss of Zion Hill Baptist. And oh boy, I gotta ask my sister Betty about that because that was something. It shocked my mother.
I would love to hear that. I would love to hear that story because that sounds.
I'll tell you, it was something. It was something. I definitely have to get with my sister Betty, and I'm gonna call her and ask her about that today too because I don't remember the details, but it shocked my mother. My mother was high up in the church. Almost made her hat fall off.
I could definitely see that. So what's your take on this coronavirus? You had an interesting perspective I wanted to share the other day.
Hey, for a lot of people, this is brand new. This is not the first virus that's hit America. I was just looking at something earlier. They had pictures of people in tents and masks, getting sick by the thousands, dying by the thousands. So the misinformation is what bothers me. In this social media age, everybody can put so much misinformation out, and people running scared. I've been shot up by so many vaccinations and inoculations in my 20 years in the service that, I'm just not that type of person that's going to worry. I know there's people out there doing their best to get a hold of this thing and get it under control. And I've got to have faith that they'll do it. Now, I tell my grandsons and my grandkids, hey, y'all got to go along with the program. You can't be running in and out of everybody's house because you just don't know who's got what. And this thing is very contagious. Very contagious. So, but I don't worry. I'm not much of a worrier. Worry never solved anything.
Right.
Not for me.
I agree. Sometimes easier said than done, but it's definitely
exactly
aspire to to try.
Exactly. You worry about your children, your family members, and stuff like that. But because people are afraid right now because they don't have a hold of this thing yet. And every day you hearing something else, and politics get involved. I'm not much of a supporter of President Trump, so I'll leave that alone
on that. Yeah. Well, who's another good person to talk to and get some more Zion Hill Baptist Church stories?
Oh my goodness gracious, my sister Betty DuBose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chat her up as well.
I'll give her a call and give her some background too, because she's always been a Zion Hill member, and she would probably remember the details of my brother's interruption better than me.
Yeah, I really want to know what that was. That sounds.
Oh boy. Yeah, that was fantastic. That was something to see. That's one of those things where you sit there with your mouth open.
Because I had the privilege of getting to know, your brother Larry a little bit through Matthew.
Yeah.
And he was really nice. I was calling him Uncle Larry too before he passed and everything.
He was nice. Larry went to college and he was a good speaker. He was a very good speaker. He knew how to word things and describe things. He was a good MC. I wish you could have got that from the horse's mouth, that story from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, me too. I know he would have told it too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, well,
Because he didn't speak without research.
Oh, yeah. I want to thank you for taking a few minutes and sharing a couple of your memories, your recollections.
Not a problem.
And it's been a privilege to talk with you this morning. Thank you.
Hey, I appreciate you even considering me.
All right. Well, you take care and take it easy.
All right. You too. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye.